Hi, I'm Harry Stegall. I have been asked by several groups and individuals to evaluate the Republican candidates that have announced for the 2018 sheriff's position in Cumberland County. I've used my experience as a sheriff's deputy in Mecklenburg County, which is the largest sheriff's department in the state, as well as my experience as a highway patrolman in North Carolina and as a businessman to make my evaluations. I also spoke to several law enforcement officers, both retired and current, to get their input about what it would take to run the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office. Well, the first thing that we have to look at when we look at the three announced candidates is their formal education. I'd like to point out that two of the candidates have never gone past high school. The third candidate, Mr. LaRue Wyndham, obtained a degree in criminal justice, four-year degree, after he finished high school. Another thing that I need to point out is that continuing education and law enforcement education is very, very crucial to growing yourself in a department and keeping the department up to date. Mr. Wyndham is the only candidate that has attended the FBI National Academy. Now let me stop right there for a second and say that if this were a city like Fayetteville or a state government agency looking for a chief law enforcement person, the first thing that they would do is look for someone with a four-year degree. The second thing they would do is look for someone that has attended the FBI National Academy and graduated, as well as ongoing police activities, police education, continued education, etc. So if this job were up to a city council or county commissioners, two of the three candidates would be disqualified right away. I'd like to point out that Mr. Wyndham has worked in almost every aspect of the sheriff's department. He started off in the jail. He rose through the ranks of captain, and he spent 20 years in the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department. The thing that I'd also like to point out when I evaluated the other two candidates is that neither one of them obtained any rank, obtained any rank while they were in their respective departments, which both happened to be the Fayetteville City Police Department. One candidate did switch over to the sheriff's office and work in the school resource division and was promoted to sergeant along the way. But as far as having any day-to-day supervisory activity within a department, only one candidate has that. This is not Mayberry anymore. You know, we all like to go back and make things like they were when, when Andy and Barney were out there, but in today's world, it takes a well-trained, a well-educated, strong administrative person to run the fifth largest sheriff's office in North Carolina. One of the other things that I took into consideration as I came close to making my recommendations is that when these candidates are questioned about what they want to do for the department, the only person that speaks of anything other than patrol work is LaRue Wyndham. The other candidates talk about what they want to do for crime prevention and work in Crime Stoppers, and one of them even indicated that he wanted to go out and work with the men in investigations and on answering calls when the time would allow. I say to you that the sheriff's department is so complex that it's impossible to go out and be prepared to answer calls when the other duties and responsibilities are there every day and are always ever present. For example, no one except Mr. Wyndham has talked about the responsibility of the Cumberland County Detention Center. These inmates are governed and controlled by the Department of Human Resources, and they're controlled down to the nutrition that they have to receive every day, the number of calories that they have to eat every day. The days of lock them up and forget them until court day is over. It's gone. These people have to have medical attention. They have a mini hospital in the jail 24 hours a day. This has to be properly staffed. These inmates have rights inside of jails, basic human nature rights, and they have to be paid attention to. One of the other huge aspects of the sheriff's office is serving the papers in both criminal and civil matters to be tried in court. This is something that takes a tremendous amount of time from the sheriff's deputies to get to the right person to make sure that they're served in person. One of the things that Mr. Wyndham wants to work with is to be part of the North Carolina Sheriff's Association so that they can promote e-service. Now that may not be too popular in smaller counties where, sheriff may not serve but, 50, 60 papers a month. But when you've got a county like Cumberland where the sheriff is serving, 1,000 papers a month, then e-service would be great. And it's simple. It just says that all parties involved agree to receive their papers by certified email, a registered email, rather than be tracked down by a sheriff's deputy. That's a huge part of what goes forward in today's world. So it's not just about patrol, it's not about crime prevention, there's so many other things that you have to take into consideration. Finally, one of the largest responsibilities of the sheriff is to maintain safety for everyone in the courtroom and the courthouse. You may go down to the courthouse to pay your taxes. You may go to pick up a license, and you certainly don't anticipate being in the middle of a gunfight or a terror attack in a courthouse. You don't even think about it most probably. So what you put your trust and confidence in is a sheriff that will maintain safety and security of that courthouse. It's very, very important. So when you stop and look at all of the aspects of the sheriff's office, Mr. Wyndham is the only person that has addressed anything other than road work for the deputies and maybe wanting to put them on 10-hour shifts and this sort of stuff. That's great, but that's just a minor part in what has to take place in the sheriff's office. I have made my recommendation to these groups. I think LaRue Wyndham is the only candidate that has the qualifications, has the education, has the experience to lead the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department the next 4 years. Would you please go to his website, WyndhamForSheriff.com, take a look, see his qualifications, and you can better determine what he has to offer the citizens of Cumberland County. Thank you so much for your attention.